that time of year. We'll start with the 211 budget. This is the non-reverting recreation budget that Sheila uses for programs. As you can see in the explanatory sheet here, we've gave you a breakdown of the programs that are going to be happening and proposed for 2020. 5 new programs are in there. So as we go through the budget here in the 211, 220, the operating supplies, we've increased that. We'd like to increase that by $3,000 to $85.50, and that's due to the 5 new programs. We are the food supplies and non-reverting programs. The 290, we're taking 300 out of that, so it's a total increase of $2,700 is really what it is in the supplies category for those 5 extra programs and new programs above and beyond what we did last year. So the printing and advertising and the other services and charges have stayed the same at $7,100. So the total proposed budget is $18,350. It's a 17% increase from the last year's budget, but really it's just the $2,700 is what it is. And this is a non-reverting budget, so it's fees. It's a budget based upon fees that we've collected for programs, and there is money in there for that, for this budget.
So Sheila, on there, the 5 new programs, what are they going to be? I can see a couple of them that I know, but.
The gingerbread house workshop, the colorful ceramics. Looking through here just quickly. The Paint in the Park Junior.
Is superhero training new?
We had it this year.
Okay,
That may have been counted in one of the 5 though,
That's-
because there
that's
wasn't
fine.
actually a budget for it this year. I just kind of,
I just know they're gonna ask me, so I just kinda wanted to know
Sure.
what they were.
yeah.
I think that one and the safe sitter one.
The safe sitter, yes, Paint Junior, ceramics, gingerbread.
Paint in the park. and-
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
all right, thank you.
those are the 5.
And this is very minimal of what we're taking out of what we have in that
Yeah.
reserve. So I feel comfortable with the increases and the increased programming. Now that we've hired Stephanie to help Sheila as well, I mean, we're adding to our programs and just going for it. So that's why the increase there. Any questions on the 211 non-reverting budget?
We need to approve that, don't we?
Correct, Steve.
Okay, we need if there's no other questions or comments, we need a motion to approve the 211 budget.
I move to approve the 211 budget as presented.
Motion, need a second?
I'll
Second.
second. Go ahead. Figures it.
Second.
On third.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Okay, the next one is the 204 budget. That's our operating budget. We'll start with the personal services. We were advised by HR and the mayor's office to put a 3% increase in there, and we also have 27 pays this year instead of 26 pays. I guess it's due to leap year. It's hard to believe one day makes that happen, but that's what they're telling me. So we're, 3% and then another $37,000 on top of that for the 27th pay period. So that's the increase there. Takes us to $1,065,000. Insurance, we were told to do a 15% increase on insurance. Typically that is put in there and then line 1 cut once we find out the rates on that. So the PERF and the FICA, of course, are affected by the 27 pays and the 3% increase. As you pay out more, you've got to pay more PERF and FICA, so those numbers are up. So it's a total of $626,500 for the PERF, FICA, insurance, and unemployment. And then other personal services, that's the $2,000. That's our cell phone reimbursement for employees that do have cell phone and have permission through the council to have those cell phones. So a 7% increase. Again, that's due to the 27 pays, the 3% salary and wages, and then the 15% increase in insurance there, so. Any questions on personal services? Okay, we'll go to supplies. Office supplies, we've kept that the same. We feel comfortable with that. It's, seems to take care of what we need there, so we've left that alone. Operating supplies, that's $1,000 more in the recreation and design and Photoshop. Sheila uses this to do our rec guides and for a lot of other things that she does in the rec division. So this is, I mean, it's about $1,000 to renew that every year, but it saves us thousands on the back end. If we were farming that out to have somebody do it, it would cost us thousands more to do that. So it's a 1% increase there as opposed to last year's budget at $101,800. Repairs and maintenance. The supplies category, we upped that $4,800 this year in our budget, just due to things are costing more. We've held that for the line since 2012. But we just see an increase in, in paint, lumber, stone, everything. I mean, everything's just going up, so we feel we need that in there. Of course, we've got the Greenway trail boards in there. Sean just did some of that yesterday and today.
Yep, they look nice, Sean.
So, we'll continue to stay on that. Wood fiber for our playgrounds and parks. I think we had a question from Jack that's running for council too about why we don't use rubber mulch under our playgrounds. Well, one reason is that sometimes you get metal shavings from the tires that have steel belts in them. Not only that, but it's dark. It creates heat when kids fall on it, and it's very dirty. I mean, if you ever taken your kids to a tire playground, I mean, they just come back black. So we prefer the wood fiber, which is in there for that. LED lamp fixtures, we're continuing to do our outside ones. We've got all the buildings done inside, so we're continuing as the high-pressure sodiums that are outdated go. We're still putting LEDs in, so that's helping. Bench and table and trash receptacles, 15,000 in different parks. Skate park material, 2,000 just for repairs. But it's a 5% increase, and that's due to the material cost, the $4,800 in material cost is the 5% increase there, so. Other supplies, that's $300 that we always put in there in case we do have a bad winter or anything like that. We can take the guys out that have worked all night and get them a breakfast or a sandwich or something like that. We've been fortunate we haven't had to use that for the last couple of years, but there are times where we have used that, so. So total supplies is $212,300. That's an increase of 3% on supplies. Any questions on supplies anywhere?
Not a question on supplies, going back to salaries. What
Yep.
did the council approve last year? Is the
It
increase?
was 4% last year. Yep. Okay, we'll move on to other services and charges. The 310 professional services, of course, we have the recreational programs for 65. That's been in for years. The janitorial service at Pete Thorne. Lake associations, we contribute to Pike Center in Winona, the $2,500 each year for conservation and maintenance and preservation. Lake and Tree Shrub Service, Central Park, McKinley, and Kittyland. Of course, we treat for cottony scale each year. Cottony scale is a messy tree disease. If you don't treat it and spray it, I mean, every picnic table or playground underneath it is just black and sooty, and it's not good for the trees as well. So we've, Signature Tree's been doing that for us. And then, of course, True Green treats the rest of the shrubs and stuff at McKinley and Central Park. Legal fees, geese removal, IT support, the inspections for the bucket truck, hoist, and Glover Pavilion, which we have to get our permits. Water testing, we still have 2 wells, Kelly Park and the Pike Lake campgrounds. Of course, our ice strike lightning detection system, yearly total, our Right Stuff payroll system, which is going well for us, and then the antivirus is in there. The city is buying that in bulk through the mayor's office as opposed to individuals buying it, so. And then our maintenance agreements for our copier at the office, and then our one at Pete Thorne. And then we've got fitness and adult contracted instructors in there. And then the big one in there is, in talking to the mayor and the city planner, we'd like to put the $135,000 in there for the construction drawings of the pavilion. You know, we've been through this long journey so far. We've got a couple of the steps done, but the next step is to do construction drawings for the office and the remodel. And once the construction drawings are done, and the funds are secured to do the project, we could bid it out right away. I mean, once the construction drawings are done, it's ready for bid. So, I mean, if that's a year, if it's 2 years, it's 5 years, I mean, we would be ready to go. So we've kept that category the same, except with the exception of the 135,000 construction drawings. So that kind of blows it out of the water and makes it a 175% increase. But, and that's in there. And we have talked about if there are funds left from the Buffalo Street Plaza project, that could be a line one cut as well, to take that out of there and use some of those funds. But we felt necessary to put it in there just in case we need it, so.
Okay.
Communications and transportation, actually, this is our MetroNet phone usage, travel, Google storage, board pack, the Civic Rec software, which we do all of our reservations on, and is a great asset to us. It's actually a 0.5% decrease this year to 38,000 from this. Printing and advertising, with more programs comes more advertising, so we've asked to increase that by $2,000. We've ran really close on advertising the last few years, so as we increase programs, we feel we need to get the word out in many different ways. So we've proposed to increase that by $2,000 to $22,000 as opposed to $20,000 last year. So with that $2,000 increase, that's a 9% increase to $24,000 for printing and advertising. Insurance, I've kept that the same as last year. Utility services, I've kept that since 2012 at $134,400. However, the Buffalo Street lighting, the plaza gazebo lighting, and the fountain and well that's going to go in there, and the street lighting, that's the new Buffalo Street lighting, is on our meter as well. So we've increased that $5,000, anticipating not only the Buffalo Street lighting, but when we get the plaza done, the interactive fountain have lights in it, continuous lights. It will have pumps and waters going, and then we'll have a well as well feeding that. So and then of course the site lighting around there. The park that'll all be on the parks meter, so we'll have that coming in there. So it's a 4% increase there with that anticipation. Repairs and maintenance, of course, building and structures, $18,000. That's for unseen things. Equipment, $3,000. Pest control, that's the pavilion, Pete Thorne, Fireman's 9, and park office. The suppression system we have to have done and inspected every year at Pete Thorne Center. The contractual plant and maintain the satellite beds at Central Park that we've had Anderson's do for a few years now is $17,000. Something in our master plan that's in here is to improve the drainage problems and identify in our master plan and create an additional parking for Higher Park. I don't know how many times you go by there, but it's usually, if it's not the parking lot underwater, it's the whole grass area in front underwater. So this would allow them to excavate that out, put in a good base, actually make it drain, tie the drain in, so that area would be dry. And it also, they're looking at having a national event again there. They've, if you remember, years ago, they had a national event, and it was just an awesome event, but one of the problems was they lacked parking. And so the national sanctioning body is looking at that as well to bring the national back as far as parking and things of that sort. They are going to have a big state meet again this year, so I think it's a warranted project that's in our master plan to not only, you know, we've lost all but what, 2 or 3 of the willow trees there, so we don't have that anymore, the barrier there, so we might as well go ahead and make a parking lot, make it drain, and make it where they did a ton of improvements to the track back there. I mean, it's one of the nicest, not only in the state, but in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really improved, and it's a nice facility, so The second thing is the repair to the Indiana Street parking lot at Central Park. If you've visited Central Park in the last couple of years, you know the Indiana Street parking lot is just, it's flooded all the time. It's cracked and it's flooded, and what's happened is the curb line is sunk. So we've asked Finn and Brown to give us estimates for that, to repair that, to not only re-asphalt it, but to make it drain and do right, so, yeah. But,
And, I'm sorry, Indiana Street, that's where the NIPSCO plant was, right?
yeah, it would be,
That line
yeah,
over there, okay.
the long Indiana Street
Okay,
lot there,
that's what I
yeah.
thought, but I-
Yep. Then, of course, miscellaneous truck repairs, and then we've also thrown this in here. We put $20,000 in there for the demolition of the gas station. Now, this would be just the building itself. It would not be the tanks. But what we thought it'd be a start to get the eyesore down, get it leveled off, and then as we look forward to the projects and what we want to do there and with the greenhouses and such, then we would address the tank issue. So it's a 36, still with all that in there, it's a 36% decrease from where we were last year. Big decrease at 166,300. So any questions on any of that? Okay. We'll go to 370 rentals. Of course, this is our uniforms and rugs, porta pots for hire, the bike track and the skate park, and then recreation, concert porta pots, moonwalks, chairs, et cetera, like that for 3,500. So same as 19 at 25,500. Other services and charges, of course, our landfill expenses, our membership dues, 3,500 to the fireworks display, which is this Saturday, I believe. So it's coming. Employee training, we have several that have their 3B and ornamental license that have to have renewed, and we have a couple interested in achieving their license. $800 there for our entertainment permits, and then of course our concerts, $70,000 for our concerts for the 3 major concerts. So same as 2019 at 82.2. That takes our total other services and charges to 731,900, which is a 7% increase due to the construction drawings and the gas station demolition. So,
That's great.
yeah,
Keep it
so-
going. Yeah.
capital outlays,
Are we
in
getting
the-
everything in our 5-year plan?
we're hitting most of it. I mean, you can't hit it all, but we're hitting quite a bit of our 5-year plan each year. I mean, we did some that's for this year and some that we should have did last year that we're doing this year. So, yeah, I think every time Pat does that, I think we're above and beyond on our list of what we want to accomplish compared to other towns and cities that he does it for. So, yeah. So in machinery and equipment, our master plan called for a new pickup truck to replace a 2005 pickup truck. Our electrician van is also a 2005. So we
Yeah, I
looked
saw it
to
going down the
replace that.
street today. I'm like, whoa.
The old girl keeps chugging along, so.
Actually, I heard it first, and that's good with my hearing aids.
And then, of course, we have the year 3 for the truck and office radios. That'll be the final year for that upgrade to those radios and stuff. And then the yearly upgrade for our Bobcat, $2,500. And then we're looking, the master plan calls for the playground replacement at Kerr Park, so $50,000 there. That's a big area out there. Then a riding mower replacement, of course, we keep those on a 4-year turnaround. And then weed eaters, push mowers, and trimmers. So we're at a 9.5% increase there compared to what we were last year, which is $11,590 increase. Which, you know, with the 2 vehicles in there, that's not bad compared to where we were last year. So total of 134.8. And so our total proposed budget is $2,772,500, which is a 7% increase. As I've indicated here. That's a $180,590 increase from last year's proposed budget, but it's due to the $135,000 construction design drawings and the $20,000 demolition of the gas station at Central Park. And then, of course, we've thrown in that 27th pay period. That's $37,000 there, and then the 15% increase in the health insurance at $54,000. So we've tried to hold the line ever since we've been here, and we're trying to do that, but yet accomplish some other things in addition to our normal budget. So, if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Any questions, comments? If not, need a motion to accept the 204 budget.
I move that we accept the 204 budget.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. You're budgeted.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, maintenance report.
Hello. Yeah, so as Larry touched on a little bit, we've been doing some work along the Greenway Trail. We trimmed back all the weeds along the boardwalk. We also trimmed some trees back towards the MedStat area along the asphalt there. Replaced a few boards. We try to replace them as we come across them. Sometimes the public helps us identify them. We don't get to walk that every day, so we appreciate the input on that. Other than that, we've also began tearing out the old amphitheater at Lucerne Park. We got a good start on it, and then we had 2 solid days of rain and had some big problems. So we're going to let it dry out a little bit, and then we'll get back on it, wrap that up, and hopefully get rolling on the new one sooner than later. Guys have also been busy maintaining all of the parks. The weather's just been a nightmare. You guys know that. I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sure, but the guys have been good sports about it, and I keep telling them it's going to dry out one of these days, but I'm still waiting on it. So that's about it.
You said the rain caused problems over at the amphitheater. I mean, nothing that, it's just looking at the lay of the land there, nothing that was dangerous or anything to your guys or anything, was it?
Borderline.
Okay, because that strikes me as a,
We almost had a tractor roll down a hill due to, we got to a point on the top of the hill, on the crest of the hill, and then we had an inch of rain within an hour, and the tractor started sliding. So with help of the street department, they brought some big payloaders and helped us drag it uphill and prevent any accidents
slow and
there.
steady.
Yeah, yeah. So when that happened, I pulled the plug on it until it dries out a little bit. So.
I do want to say they'll give you a compliment because I think they've just done an excellent job at keeping the tree limbs picked up and the debris out of the way. And I mean, I've been so impressed at the turnaround time after we've had one of these storms.
Yeah. When we have a storm roll through, I'm usually in, Larry's usually in early in the morning, the following morning, and we get a good assessment, and we dispatch the crews to where we see needed. Been pretty lucky, but we've had a couple storms this year that we've gotten right on.
Thank you, sir. Recreation report.
So believe it or not, we are roughly halfway through the summer programming season. I know. Rec staff's doing really well this year. I'm proud of them. Rock concert, the park was full. If you weren't there, you missed it because the park was full, the weather was beautiful. It was a wonderful night. This Friday is the blues concert. If you want parking passes for that, let me know. I've got them. I grabbed a couple of them for you guys that had requested them already. We are not doing VIP chairs for that this time, so that whole front section will be open. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was we were able to put a new top coat on the asphalt at the skate park. We had been battling a couple of pretty big cracks out there, and they were starting to just be a menace to the skaters. So we were able to crack fill those and put a new surface coat, and hopefully that'll get us through a couple years.
So we cracked, filled, and sealed is what we did. We didn't resurface, but yeah. But it helped a bunch. Yeah,
Yes,
made it look
very
great.
much. Skaters are happy, my staff's happy, I'm happy.
They
And
can stay
everybody's
open
safe.
every day this week. That'll be new.
That would be great.
Yeah.
If it dry up a little bit and they could be open, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sheila.
thank you.
How are the lifeguard situation working out?
It's
Don't ask.
not.
Okay.
No, we have 4. They are guarding
So,
Wednesday through Sunday as much as they can. Right now, we're in the middle of swim lessons, which kind of throws a wrench in things because it takes 2 of them to do swim lessons, but then, the other 2 trying to guard. So they're doing the best they can. We're doing the best we can.
I think they did an incredible job, the 4 of them.
Yes.
I've been down there several times, and they're doing what they can, and when they're not there, on the days they're not there, I just made this comment to Sean today, it seems like everybody is being respectful at the beach and kind of watching out for each other, so it's going really well
Yes.
for the circumstances we're under, so I haven't seen any problems.
Where do you even go for training and certification and all that for lifeguards?
The high school does a course that they can
Okay.
take during school, and then the Y. And beyond that, within Kosciuszko County, I'm not sure.
No, Red Cross used to do it all the time, but.
Yeah, I know the Y does the Red Cross
So they can do it
course.
the Y
Mhm.
or the high school, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Other matters?
Just a couple here. The amphitheater project that Sean mentioned, they about got it out. Well, we did receive a legitimate bid for the amphitheater. We're working with the contractor to reduce the cost of the project a little bit, but it is our intention to award the contract at the July 5th Board of Works meeting. So came in a little more than what we thought, but I think we're going to have a nice product when we're done. So it's very promising. We met with the contractor yesterday, and I think it's going to work out. So very excited about it. I think it's going to be a great addition there. The Kelly Park, the pickleball project, of course, with the weather delay, but they did come and take down the east fence yesterday, the day before. So that's down, and Fendon Brown, according to Brent, they're scheduled to start out there the 27th. Weather permitting, it should be a week to 10-day for the phase 1, which is taking the post out, re-asphalting everything, and then putting the fence back up, and then the divider fences, and then, of course, K&M will have to come in and put the net post in, and then stripe and seal everything. So hopefully we're under the way with that, and it's not so much of a slowdown. The weather will be a little bit on the ceiling and putting the post in, but that just getting the equipment in there to widen that court and get the asphalt on it, that's the main thing. If we can get through that, then I'm pretty sure the project will roll right along. But that's been the struggle with everything out there. So, but it's a good sign that they've got us on the calendar, and a lot of jobs aren't even on the calendar, so we're on the calendar. So hopefully that'll be done here pretty soon. That's all I've got, Steve.
Okay. We're done. Need me to hear a motion to adjourn. Doesn't anybody want
I
to?
move we adjourn.
Now I'll say.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're out of here.
Nice cool air conditioner, all I want to say.
Yeah. Right. Then you're gonna bear my